Hi, I'm Lee, and I'm going to make a cheesecake today. Everybody I know likes cheesecake, and they think it's hard to make, but it's really very simple, and you don't need a lot of ingredients. First of all, what I use is I use a springform pan to make it, and the springform pan is the kind that opens like this, and then you just clip it shut. I'm going to have to do it on the camera, or I will drop it, and it just clips shut. So it's firm in there. And I make a graham cracker crust, and you can use real graham crackers and crush them up yourself, but that's too much trouble. So I get a box of already made cracker crumbs, and I've got 2 cups of cracker crumbs in here with 2 tablespoons of sugar. You can add more or less sugar depending on how sweet you want it. It doesn't really need it either because the graham cracker crumbs are already sweet. And I have mixed a stick of butter, which is half a cup of butter, and I used unsalted. You use whatever you want, and you mix them together. So I'm going to mix this. Get it all nice and blended. And then I'm going to put it in the springform pan. I'm going to bake it about 10 minutes in a 325-degree oven. Okay, so I put the graham cracker crumbs, butter, and sugar and mixed them together, and I put them in the springform pan. And I don't know if you can tell, but I did have it go up a little bit on the sides. That's just for decoration. I don't really know if it serves a purpose or not. But it's all in there, and now I'm going to bake it for 10 minutes at 325. While the crust is baking, for the actual cheesecake, you are going to need 5 of the 8-ounce cream cheeses, and I like Philadelphia brand cream cheese. I can tell a big difference. You need a cup of sour cream, and what I do instead of measuring, I just buy the 8-ounce package, and then I know to put all of it in. I have 4 large eggs. I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons vanilla. I don't know if I have 2 tablespoons left, but I like a lot of vanilla in mine. A cup of granulated sugar, and about 3 tablespoons of flour. And that's all you need. So I'm going to mix these all up together. Okay, you want to make sure that your cream cheese is soft, and I think that's soft enough. Sometimes I let it get softer, but you know, filming in a rush. So we have the cream cheese, and I'm going to add the cup of flour. The cup of sugar. We're going to add the cup of sugar, and then the 3 tablespoons of flour. And let's see how much vanilla we have to add into this. We're going to add that much vanilla. Okay, and add more vanilla. And now what I'm going to do with this is mix it with the blender, and it's going to be loud, but we're just going to mix it until it's smooth. When I've got it looking like this, I put in the sour cream. So you want a cup of it, or an 8-ounce container. And when you're done mixing, it's going to be kind of thick, but this is what it should look like. It's kind of thick and looks very creamy. So that's your cheesecake batter. And this is our cooked cheesecake crust of the graham crackers, and I am just going to pour this on top of it. So, what are we going to do while our cheesecake bakes for 70 minutes? Thought that we could make a blueberry sauce to put on top of it. I had a little bit of fresh blueberries, but I had a bag of frozen blueberries in the freezer, so I combined the two of them in a saucepan, and I squeezed 2 small lemons. It looks like a lot of juice, so I might not use it all. 2 small lemons, 1 large lemon, and use as much of the juice as you would like. Maybe 2 tablespoons might be okay. I've got approximately a third of a cup of water, and I have about a 1/4 cup of sugar. And we're going to combine them in the saucepan and bring them to a boil. And let's do that. It should be fun. Okay, I put the stove top on 8. So we've got the blueberries in there. I'll add these blueberries too. And then I'm going to add part of the lemon juice. That should be enough. We can always adjust it later if it's not. I'll add the water. And we'll sprinkle the sugar on top. And we're just going to bring this to a boil while we stir it. We'll just stir it every now and then. You can always buy canned topping at the store too. I use that a lot. Our blueberries are boiling now, and I've lowered the temperature on it. There seems to be a lot of water that was released from the berries in addition to the liquids that we added. So what I've done is mix a little bit of cornstarch and water, and I'm going to pour it in here, and it will help thicken it up while it simmers over the stove top. Looks like milk, it's just cornstarch and water. And so we're going to let this simmer for a while and get thick and tasty. Okay, and there it is. I have just simmered it for maybe 5-10 minutes. It's gotten really thick. It's going to get thicker as it cools. It's got a really nice fresh flavor, not too sweet. And I think it's a lot better than the fruit that comes in a can. Very simple to make. So the cheesecake is still cooking, and we're going to let this cool. And I will see you in a bit. Okay, I think it's time to take it out of the oven. It's got a nice jiggle to it. It's got a good color to it. And I'm going to put it on a cake rest. Okay, so we have our cheesecake out, and it's got to cool. We're going to let it cool about an hour outside of the refrigerator, and then I'm going to stick it in the fridge for at least 4 hours. I'm probably going to do it overnight. And I've also got the blueberry topping, and it's all ready. It's very good. Not too sweet. So I'm going to let this cool. Also, a lot of times when I make cheesecake, it gets a crack in the middle. A way to avoid the crack is to keep it in the oven after it's done, but open the door and turn the oven off and let it cool down gradually that way. And that'll prevent a big crack happening. But I can bet you $5 that tomorrow when we look at the cake, it's going to have a crack in it. It'll still taste good though. Good morning. We've got the cheesecake, and look, I didn't get a crack. And once again, it's because I left it in the oven for a little bit longer with the oven off, and I opened the door to let it gradually cool down. It really does help. But if you do get a crack in it, don't worry. You can always cover it up with topping. I've got the blueberry topping, and I did decide that I think in my batch of blueberries, a little bit of extra sugar would have been good. So taste it. If you think it needs more, even add half a cup of sugar instead of a 1/4 cup. It really depends on how sweet your blueberries are from the start. It's not blueberry season right now, so mine were a little bit tart. We've got a cup of tea. So let's cut into this and see what it's like. Okay, my first piece didn't cut so well, so we're cutting it again. The first piece is always the hardest. And I probably didn't use the best utensil to cut either, so. Okay, so we have the cheesecake, and you can see it's really, really thick. That's a cat. And ignore all the crumbs. And then we'll add our blueberry topping. And it's just fine without topping. It's just if you want to add the topping, it's something good to have. It's very, very good. Really easy to make. It does take a lot of time, but most of the time is from the hour of baking and then at least 4 hours refrigeration. It's better the cooler it is, so overnight is what I would recommend. Really good. Now I hope you get a chance to make it, and I hope that you like it.